Hi everyone, welcome to the Elusive Tutorials YouTube channel. Basically, we'll be talking about how to animate with your Android phones, iPads, iPhones, or whatever device that you have, including your computers, using Flipaclip, how to know its tools and what they are used for. However, there are very many animation softwares that we will also likely use to dish out to you guys some tips and tricks in animation that we all need to know so as to improve on our digital art. Before we move forward, kindly click on the subscribe button below and switch on the notification icon for more of our content, and let's get started. Once you've downloaded Flipaclip from App Store, Google Play Store, or from whatever website that you intend to, when you open the app, a screen like this appears. In the bottom part of the screen, there is a big red plus button that will enable you to create a new project. So once you click on the red button, another screen appears that will require you to input the name of your project, choose a background of your choice, the canvas size, and the number of frames per second. In this lesson, we're going to be creating a project, naming our new project Bouncing Ball. Then we choose a background of our choice. There are very many backgrounds here. In the bottom right corner, we have three icons. The first icon signifies the background color fill, where you could easily fill up a solid color for your background. The second is the photo album. You could select a photo as your background from your camera roll. The third is the camera. You could take pictures as your background. But for the sake of this lesson, we're going to be choosing a white paper background as our preferred background. The next is the canvas size. The canvas size will definitely determine where you're going to be placing your videos. Are you making videos for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook? The canvas size will give you an automatic answer to that. So it is left to you to choose whatever preferred canvas size you want. So we're going to be choosing YouTube as our preferred canvas size. The next is the number of frames per second. The number of frames per second determines the rate of your animation. The higher the number of frames, the faster your animation, and vice versa. You could choose a faster frame rate or a slower frame rate, but at this point we're going to be choosing 11 as our preferred frame rate so as to get started, and then we create our project. As you can see, our project is already saving. So once our project has saved, a new interface will appear. At the top part of the screen, there is a toolbox. From the left to the right, we'll have 5 essential tools. The pen, which is the default. When you click on the pen, it pops up a menu from the bottom that shows 4 other pens. From the left to the right, we have the pencil, the paintbrush, the pen itself, which is the default, and the highlighter pen, which is also used for highlighting. In our subsequent lessons, we're going to be using these 4 tools to show you how and what they are used for. Beside the pen, we have the dot that shows the thickness of the pen when you drag it down and up. The next beside the dot is the color setting. When you tap on the box, it shows you the color wheel, wherein you could navigate around and choose whatever color that you want. Above the color wheel, there are the presets there that you could easily move in between the color palette. The next is the eraser. The eraser is used for erasing. Once you click on the eraser, the dot beside the eraser shows the thickness of the eraser by dragging down and up. Beside the dot, we have the saturation dot. When you drag it down, it shows the thickness of the eraser, and when you drag it up, it shows the thinness of the eraser. So beside the saturation dot, we have a box there which is called the opacity box or setting. When you click on it, you could drag it down to make it transparent and up to make it darker. So with time, we're going to be using this to tell you what and how you can use them. The next is the selection tool, which is the most favorite. If you truly know how to utilize this selection tool, it could also be your most favorite, and this is what I use in making my most manipulations in my project. So first, I'm going to be drawing an object to tell you how to use the selection tool. When you tap on the selection tool, trace the object round and drag to the right and left. You could also shrink the object and enlarge it, and also make it smaller and bigger. More so, you could turn it around to your desired taste and flip it. So that is what the selection tool does. The next in line is the color fill. When you tap on it, a box appears that shows the color of the object that you want. Now you could navigate around and choose whatever color that you want in the color wheel, and then tap on the vacuum here to fill up the color, as you can see. So that is what the color fill does. The next is the text tool. Definitely you can use the text tool to add text to your project. So once you type on it, you may want to type bouncing ball and insert. So as you can see, this is it. Above it, it shows the font size of the bouncing ball. So once you click on it, you could choose whatever font size that you want, as you can see here. So I'm going to be embarking on a project right now by drawing a bouncing ball using my Android phone while placing my finger on the screen. But if you have a light pen or a Sona pen, the better for you. So stay tuned guys and watch out. After we must have drawn our ball, we then choose the color and tap on the vacuum here, as you can see. Actually, my ball is really not rounded enough, so don't mind the shape of the ball. So once you have done something like this, when you look at the bottom part of the screen, we just have one frame. Beside the frame, there is a plus sign there that when you click on it, you could add more frames to it. But it is better we add more frames by looping our animation and clicking on the three dots icon in the top right corner of the screen that pops down a list of options, wherein we can now type on the frames viewer option here in order to loop our animation, as you can see here. So once you click on the first frame that has the object, a red outline covers the first frame, and then in the bottom part of the screen there is the copy icon. Once you click on the copy icon, beside the copy icon we have the paste icon there. Click on paste icon to duplicate your work. Afterwards, tap on the second frame click on copy icon and paste. Tap, click and paste. Copy and paste. Actually, we will be needing just 10 frames. So we're going to click on the check mark and delete the 2 empty frames here in the bottom part of the screen because we don't really need them, and click on delete in the bottom left corner of the screen. Now we can now go back to our animation screen and look at it properly. So once you look at the bottom part of the screen, there are 10 frames there, as you can see. So in order for us to make a realistic movement, we'll use the selection tool, tap on the second frame, trace the object and drag a bit downward so as to twin the object. Same thing goes with the third frame. Circle, drag down a bit, circle, drag down a bit. At this juncture, we're going to make the ball flexible by stretching it so as to follow the first principle of animation, which is the squash and stretch. So for us to stretch the ball, we need to shrink the ball, turn it around, so as to look realistic. So when the ball touches the ground, it squashes. So tap on the 5th frame, trace the object, and we're going to squash the ball as it touches the ground. Now, the next most important thing that we need to know is the onion skinning, which shows you images of the prior movement of the ball, thus making you and helping you also to position the next movement of the ball. For you to be able to access the onion skinning, in the top right corner of the screen there is a 3-dot icon. Once you click on the 3-dot icon, it pops down a list of options wherein you can see the onion option. Click on the onion option. In the bottom part, we have the frames before and frames after. You could decide to increase the frames before to actually show you images of the prior movement of the ball, and you could also increase the frames after. So we're going to reduce the frames after and increase the frames before so as to give us and show us the images of the previous movement. So we can go back to our animation screen, and when you look at the screen, we could see the images of the previous movement of the ball. So this will enable us to position our next movement. So once we click on the 6th frame, we trace the object and Alright, we have successfully drawn our ball. We can now play our project by clicking on the white triangle in the bottom part of the screen to see how our project looks like. So as you can see, we have a bouncing ball here. It's awesome, isn't it? Well guys, congratulations, we've come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, click on the subscribe button below and switch on the notification icon